The theme of justice and social justice came up a lot in the ABC workshops. The catastrophically broken justice system that effectively decriminalises child sexual abuse. The victim-blaming mental health system that labels, medicates and further marginalises survivors. And the lack of access to healthcare, to education and culture. All of this is reflected in the ABC cards. Like the M is for mental health diagnoses. This is not an illness, it's a crime ignored. E is for evidence, with a big question mark. And J is for there's not a whole lot of justice in this world. So I'm a bit of a philosophy nerd. And you need to bear with me now because I'm going to use some long words that I don't really understand either and that I might say wrong. But the words aren't really important. It's the idea that I want to share. So Miranda Fricker talks about epistemic injustice. And epistemic is to do with knowledge and how valid it's seen to be, how believable we are considered to be as knowers, and how some groups of people are seen to be less believable because of discrimination. You with me so far? Yeah. Great. So she talks about different types of epistemic injustice, and one example that is horribly familiar is testimonial injustice, where the characteristics of a person are used to undermine their testimony. So like in a rape trial where a woman's testimony is undermined because of what she was wearing or because she was drunk. And so that's one kind of epistemic injustice. And then she talks about hermeneutical injustice. I mean, I've got no fucking idea what that word means. But what she means by it is that it is where a community lacks the words or the language or the frameworks to understand or talk about their knowledge or experiences because those experiences have not been acknowledged culturally. And this has been the CSA survivor experience because as a community, we have been deliberately and systematically isolated and silenced. In our work, over and over again, we meet survivors who have never had the opportunity to talk to another survivor. Survivors who don't know how to bring the subject up with friends, families, or colleagues. Survivors who tell us that they can't say certain words or find any words to talk about what happened to them, and how creativity and community start to provide language and frameworks for us to start to make sense of our feelings and experiences of injustice. And that is why projects like this, the ABC of CSA, matter. Because they are about us finding the words to talk about child sexual abuse, to contribute to a shared language. They're intended as starting points for conversations, not to tell anyone how to think or feel, but to say, this is how some of us feel. Is that your experience, or is your experience different? If so, how? We want to know. We want everyone to know the complexity and nuance in each heroic journey of survival. And we are fucking heroes. Each of us. Yeah. Yes. We are. Our core belief as an organisation is that surviving child sexual abuse is a creative act. We are inherently creative, resourceful beings. Otherwise, we would not have made it this far. When we come together and validate each other as credible, believable knowers, victims, survivors, and witnesses of not only abuse, but also of cultural oppression, discrimination, and exclusion, then everything changes. So that brings me on to zebras. Our Z card is about feeling like a zebra in a world full of giraffes, which speaks to that place where we feel different, where we have felt isolated, where we have felt like we don't fit. But here's the thing. There's a lot of zebras in the world, and they're pretty cool. Each zebra's stripe pattern is completely unique, like a fingerprint. No two are the same, but they have really strong bonds. They live in herds. They migrate long distances to survive. They climb mountains and form super herds of thousands of individuals. The collective noun is dazzle, a dazzle of zebras. I'm down with that. They're vigilant. They're always on the lookout for predators. One of them stays awake at night to keep watch. Does that sound familiar to anybody? And if they're attacked, they stand together in solidarity. They know about the power of numbers. I've got a new catchphrase. Do you want to hear it? Yes. I'm a fucking zebra, mate. Deal with it. Oh, I hope that you're glad you're here. And I hope that you know how precious you all are and how much we appreciate you walking through that door, because it is not an easy door to walk through. I hope you understand that by being here, you are resisting abuse. And that is fucking dazzling, my friends. You are absolutely dazzling. Thank you so much.